Does a Berenstein bear take a shit in the woods? Of course it does, and it leaves a Berenstain on the innocent rabbit it used to wipe its ass. Okay, Berenstein versus Berenstain. Real quick, it's always been Berenstein or Berenstein to me. I'm 33, I was born in 82, so I kind of grew up with the Berenstein bears. This Berenstein stuff, it's Greek to me. So whether we're on a parallel universe path that we've intersected with, or someone went back in time, who knows? Mandela Effect. People think one thing, but they're privy to another. Kind of like literally Nelson Mandela. A lot of people think he died in prison years ago, but he was released and ended up dying in 2013. Or maybe a lot of people seem to remember that JFK was shot live on television, but we all know that didn't happen. We were privy to seeing the Zapruder film a whole lot later. Anyway, I went to a couple comedy shows, interviewed some people in the audience about their thoughts on the Berenstein versus Berenstein Bears controversy, and I just interviewed some random people, so let's take a look at some of the pictures of the controversy itself that are floating around the internet, and then here are some interviews. So the controversy started a couple years ago with this blog here, The Woods Between Worlds, that the writer described as the Berenstein Bears remembered by everybody. However, all the published materials said Berenstain Bears, because when we were all kids, obviously, it goes without saying, we remember the Berenstein, Berenstein. You'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who didn't remember it as that way. However, it might just be an effect of the Mandela Effect, where we believe one thing and another reality is true, and or, according to theorists, we've leveled onto a different parallel universe, or maybe someone back in time has been some shenanigans. And it's just weird because everybody I talk to remembers Berenstein Bears, and everyone's tripping out recently because it's trending for the last couple weeks. I heard it on the Joe Rogan Experience. Brian Redband was talking about it.
What the fuck are Berenstein Bears? It's always in Berenstein or Berenstein. Berenstain? Get the fuck out of here.
So you're telling me right now you're finding out for the first time about this Mandela Effect thing? It's been trending for the last 3 weeks?
Someone's talking about the Berenstein Bears? What? It's never been Berenstain. It's been Berenstein, Berenstein. Just like...
So you want to maintain that it's always been Berenstein or Berenstein as opposed to Berenstain?
What the fuck is Berenstain?
So you're saying that's completely new to you?
What's today's date?
It's freaking September 3rd, 2015.
September 3rd, 2015 at 6:35 p.m. is the first time I heard anything called Berenstain Bears. The fuck is this shit?
So it's like NBC in the 90s. If it's new to you, is this new to you, the whole concept?
Completely.
Is your mind blown?
My mind hurts.
Do you think we are on a parallel rift? Do you think someone went back in time to screw with us?
Look! This is what I remember, not this crap.
Here's the thing, my roommate told me about this a couple of weeks ago actually, which is another kind of, screws with your mind that it happens in quick succession like that. You hear about this information a couple times. That always freaks me out. But here's the thing, my friend told me about it. He said, how is Berenstein Bears spelled? And I guess Bearstein, because I just remembered it being Stein, like a Jewish name. That's how it's imprinted in my head, and I had those books. It's not like something I heard about. It's something we had at our house. I don't know where they are now. I assume they say Stain because that apparently is what it is, but I just always felt like if it was Berenstain with an A, stain is a word that means something. How could I forget that it was, I feel like that would give it context and that I would remember that, so that's why I'm tripped out by it.
So real quick, do you think there are any shenanigans going on? Do you buy into the whole parallel universe time shift thing?
I'm a member of the religion of I don't know. We're kind of dumb animals who think we're smarter than we are. So who knows? But I'm not gonna point fingers at the Illuminati or at some random. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's I don't know. Maybe it's just we're so inundated with the Steen suffix of Jewish names that we changed it in our brain. Maybe some weird shit happened, who knows?
And then this article popped up where somebody has a screen grab of an old TV guide from the back of a newspaper where it says that the Berenstein Bears, not the Berenstain Bears, was premiering. And it's funny because in the Woods Between Worlds article it talks about differences in spelling. And then if you look right here, you zoom into the article, the newspaper article, it also says that All the King's Men was playing, and it was about Woodward and Bernstein, which obviously Woodward and Bernstein is kind of a different spelling if it's jumbled a little bit, of Wood Between Worlds and Berenstein Bears. Just something to think about.
Okay, saying that you're not well versed on the Berenstein Bears, what would you think the spelling of the word Berenstein would be?
COWYSX48. Berenstein Bears, bitch.
Okay, how do you spell Berenstein Bears?
BARENSCENEBEARS.
But seriously, how do you spell Berenstein Bears? How do you spell Berenstein?
Oh, I don't know.
No clue whatsoever?
No.
So you haven't heard about the controversy about the Berenstein versus the Berenstain Bears?
Hell no.
How old are you?
28.
I take it that you didn't read a lot of books when you were kids?
I didn't read nothing.
Okay, but how would you spell Berenstein Bears?
I thought it was EI.
So EI as opposed to AIN?
Yes.
Because right now, every printed material says AIN, when as kids we remember EIN. So a lot of people think
Why
there's
is
either
that?
well, a lot of people think there's a parallel universe that we've intersected with and we're on a different path, and or someone went back in time and they changed it.
Or it's mind control or something?
Well, the Mandela Effect, people believe one thing when it's an actual other thing. That could be
Yeah.
another thing, but thank you.
Subliminal messaging. I don't know, maybe it's something like that.
I'll sum it up in like a couple words. It's totally true. That shit has been changed. I remember it was what, EI, and it's definitely not that anymore. So it's true.
Don't look at me, dude. I don't know how to fucking spell.
Thank you. Alright guys, that was my science experiment. I didn't promise it was going to be anything good, I was just kind of curious. And we'll get your host, Roberto.